Hello, hi, a very happy good evening. So this is Krishnaveni and we've been talking about the story of life on earth, and that's biology. Yes, welcome to my lecture. Hi Anthony Abi, a very happy good evening. So thank you for joining my lecture today. So please do like, share and subscribe. So here we are talking about lecture 2 of digestion and absorption. So let's see if we can cover or finish this chapter today. So I will try to go a bit fast, but if you do not understand, so please feel free to stop me in between. I can explain it again. Yes, sir, a very happy good evening. So thank you for joining my lecture today. Yes, Satya, a very happy good evening. So thank you for joining my lecture. So please do like, share and subscribe. So shall we go into digestion and absorption? So this is lecture 2. Yes. Okay, so here we go. So before we go into today's topic about talking about your digestion and absorption, so let me tell you, so today we are once again meeting at 6:30 p.m. and we are meeting and playing a Menti quiz. So it is Guess the Chapter Menti. So this is season 1 and episode 10. So as promised, I told you in season 1 you have 10 episodes. So very soon you will have season 2. But that will not be Guess the Chapter, so that will be a different version. So please wait for some suspense. So today it's the last episode of season 1. So please join me for Guess the Chapter Menti. And this is at 6:30 p.m. So this is at 6:30 p.m. So please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. So please bring your friends along. So we just gonna play for 20 questions, 20 seconds each. Okay, and you have leaderboard only 4 times appearing on the screen. So you will not have the leaderboard which occurs after every question. Done? Yes, so shall we talk about digestion and absorption? Yes, Vishal, a very happy good evening. So thank you for joining my lecture today. So please do like, share and subscribe. Yes, so lecture 2 of digestion and absorption. So here we go. So what is that we were discussing in the previous lecture? So in the previous lecture, we were discussing about the digestive system. So today we'll talk about the digestion of food, absorption of digested products, so how it gets absorbed, and then finally disorders of the digestive system. So I don't want to be really fast because there are some students who are listening to this lecture for the first time. So I'll try to be in a moderate speed, so I will not pace up or I will not be really slow. But if time permits, I'll finish up digestion of food as well as absorption of digested products, and disorders we will see it in the next lecture. So mostly in the next lecture we'll be discussing important questions from digestion and absorption. Yes, Dharini, oh hi, a very happy good evening. So thank you for joining my lecture. So please do like, share and subscribe. Hi Shimpi, yes, a very happy good evening. I'm good, thank you. How are you? So please do like, share and subscribe. Yes, so here we go. So do you remember the lecture what we discussed in the last class, digestive system, a recap? Yes, do you remember how does the flow go? Yes, giving you a quick recap of how the process of digestion, before we go into the process of digestion, what is the passage of food, how the food transverses inside your alimentary canal. So we were talking about the alimentary canal, so the path of food that I'm writing. So it starts with your mouth, then into your buccal cavity, then you have the pharynx, which is the common path, then it moves into esophagus, the food pipe, so then it moves into a muscular bag shaped structure, so that is your stomach, then you have small intestine, then it moves into large intestine, and finally out through the anus. Right, so this is your passage of your alimentary canal. Yes, Swami, hello, hi. So thank you for joining my lecture today. A very happy good evening. So please do like, share and subscribe. So this is the pathway. Right, so here we spoke about a lot of in detail description, so which I will explain. So your buccal cavity consists of your mouth as well as your tongue. So this also houses your teeth and your tongue. Right, so in teeth we were talking about the structure of each tooth, that is the crown, the neck and the root, right? So we also spoke about the different arrangement of teeth. So one is your first, it starts with your arrangement of teeth in your jaw socket, so which is your thecodont. So then you have two types of teeth in your life cycle, milk teeth and permanent teeth. So this is your diffeodont And then we have 4 types of teeth, that is heterodont. Then you have one set of teeth which appears only once in your lifetime, though you have two sets of teeth that is coming up. So that is known as monophodont, right? So the adult formula being 2123 by 2123. So totally we have 32 teeth. So this is incisors, canines, premolars and molars, right? So this is what we spoke about your teeth. So then talking about your tongue. So your tongue is a muscular organ and it is attached to the floor of the oral cavity by what is known as frenulum, right? So the roof of the oral cavity is known as palate. So on the surface of the tongue, you have projections known as papillae. So this papillae houses your taste buds, right? I hope you remember this much, no doubt. So pharynx is a common passage for your food as well as your air passage. So it is a common passage. So to ensure that food does not move into the trachea, that is the windpipe, the opening of the trachea is known as epiglottis and glottis is covered by epiglottis. So I hope you remember what is glottis and epiglottis. Yes. So the next one is esophagus. So esophagus is known as the food pipe. So it is a muscular tube, okay, and it runs posterior to your neck, abdomen and thorax. So what happens in the esophagus? Nothing happens. The food is just transferred from the esophagus into your stomach, okay. So when it moves inside the stomach, in this junction you have a splinter. So this is known as gastroesophageal splinter, right? So then it moves into the stomach. The food moves into the stomach. The stomach is a muscular J-shaped organ and it has 4 parts. The first part is cardiac. Then you have fundus. Then you have the main body part where the process of digestion is involved, okay. So then the last part is pyloric. So pyloric opens into small intestine. So the first part of the small intestine is your duodenum. Then you have jejunum. And then you have ileum. Okay, so since pyloric is the last part and it opens into the first part of the duodenum, so here you have a splinter which is known as the pyloric splinter, right? Clear? So now from the small intestine, the food moves into the large intestine. So large intestine again has 3 parts. What are the 3 parts? That is cecum, then you have colon, and then you have rectum. So cecum is the part where you have microbes or symbiotic microorganisms and it also houses your vermiform appendix, right? And colon is of three parts. One is your ascending colon, transverse, descending, sigmoidal, right? So this is your ascending colon. So this is transverse colon and this is my descending colon, right? So this is the first part of your food through the alimentary canal. Yes, Munna, hello, hi, very happy good evening. So thank you for joining my lecture. So please do like, share and subscribe. Okay, fine. So this is the first part. So moving further, so what else did we talk about? So we spoke about the walls of the alimentary canal. Yes, Shubham sir, hello, hi, good evening. Thank you for joining our lecture today. So please do like, share and subscribe. So you have 4 layers in the wall of the alimentary canal. So what are the 4 layers? If you remember, the outermost is the serosa. So then you have muscularis. Then you have submucosa. And then you have mucosa. Right? So these are the 4 layers of your walls of your alimentary canal. So this is the outermost layer. So this is made of thin mesothelium. So this is of muscularis layer is made up of muscular tissues, but it is circular on the inner side and it is longitudinal on the outer side. Okay, so submucosa is made up of loose connective tissue, so it houses your lymph, blood and your nerves. Right, and it also contains glands in your duodenum region. So this contains glands in your duodenum region, which is known as your Brunner's gland. So this gland is known as your Brunner's gland. Right, and the last one was your mucosal layer. So this is the innermost. So this has foldings, irregular foldings in your stomach, that is known as rugae, and it also has foldings in your small intestine. So this is in the stomach, and it has foldings in the small intestine known as villi. So this villi has microscopic projections, thus being called as microvilli. Okay, so we were talking about this microvilli at the end. So this microvilli, so the video lecture is blurred. Is it blur for everyone or is it clear? Is the video blurred for everyone or is it clear? Is it clear? Okay, so this microvilli, okay, so the lecture is blurred for Srinivas. How about others? How about others? For others also the lecture is blurred. Okay, so Shimpi says clear, Vishal also says clear. Okay, fine, thank you guys. So this microvilli has a large supply of network of blood vessels as well as lymph, that is known as lacteals. So this houses this mucosal layer. So this also has goblet cells of the intestine, so which can secrete mucus if you remember. So goblet cells are present in the innermost layer, that is mucosal layer. So this microvilli has lacteals. At the basis between the two microvilli, you have what is known as crypts of Lieberkühn. Yes, so this crypts of Lieberkühn have a particular type of cells known as spinete cells, which secretes antimicrobial enzymes. So this is exactly where I stopped, right? Yes? Fine. So today moving into the next part, okay, so this I have given you a recap. So today we'll talk about the digestive glands. So what are the glands that aid the process of digestion? So now we spoke only about the passage. There are certain glands which help in the process of digestion. So the three glands are associated with the digestive glands. The first one is salivary glands, the second one is liver, and the third one is pancreas. So pancreas and liver are glands. We do not call them as organs. Okay, so we have three glands which participate in the process of digestion. Clear? Yes. So first one is the salivary gland, next is the liver, the third one is the pancreas. So we'll talk in detail about each of them. The first one is salivary glands. So salivary glands are present in your buccal cavity. So three pairs of salivary glands situated just outside the buccal cavity, but their secretions are into the buccal cavity. So before I move into the glands, can you define what are glands for me? Yes, so what are glands? Yes. Wrap-up series for NEET 23? No, wrap-up series is for NEET 2021. Yes, what is a gland? So gland is a group of tissues, you can say, so which secretes a substance, which is used for secretion. So a group of tissue which secretes, and this secretion plays a role. So your glands can be of two types. One is your endocrine gland and other one is your exocrine gland. So endocrine gland secretions are known as hormones and they do not have any duct. Directly hormones are released into the blood circulation, whereas exocrine glands, they release their secretions into their own duct. They have their own passage through which it moves off. Okay, so this is your exocrine gland. So this is the general introduction about gland. So now first we're talking about salivary glands. It is situated so all these three are exocrine glands. So pancreas is a heterocline gland. So pancreas can be both endocrine as well as exocrine. because pancreas produces hormone as well, right? But all these three are exocrine glands. They have their own ducts through which the secretions pass, okay? I am 2023 aspirant. Can I watch this video? Yes, of course you can watch, so no one is stopping you. As long as you don't disturb, and if you don't understand, you can ask me, I will explain it again, okay? Yes, so you have three pairs of salivary glands which is situated just outside the buccal cavity, but the secretions are inside or into the buccal cavity. So the first pair of salivary gland is your parotid gland, so it is near the cheeks. Okay, the first salivary gland is parotid gland, so it is the largest salivary glands. So you have three pairs. Among this, your parotid glands is the largest salivary gland. Okay, so these glands are located just below the external auditory canal of your ear. So your external auditory canal just enters and reaches till your cheeks, right? So here it is located just below to the external auditory canal, and it has a duct. That's why they are called as exocrine. So the duct is known as parotid duct or Stenson's duct. Okay, so remember SP. So they open into the upper jaw. So that is the buccal vestibule. So these glands open, so the secretion from the parotid gland opens into the upper jaw, that is known as buccal vestibule, and sometimes this is prone to viral infection, and that viral infection is known as mumps. Okay, so you should remember among the three pairs of salivary glands, the first one is your parotid, and it is the largest of the salivary glands. So these glands are located just below the external auditory canal, and this duct of this gland is parotid, or it is known as Stenson's duct, and it opens into the upper jaw, that is into the buccal vestibule, and this is prone to infection of virus. That disease is known as mumps. The second salivary gland is submaxillary or submandibular gland. So this is towards the lower jaw. So the second one is submaxillary or submandibular. So it is located in the junction of the upper and lower jaw. The duct of it is the Watson's duct. It is the largest duct. So this gland itself is the largest. Here only the duct is the largest. The duct is a passage through which the secretions pass. So the largest duct is your Watson's duct. The largest gland is your salivary gland. Okay, yes. So moving further, the third gland is your sublingual gland. So this is present just below the tongue. Okay, it is the smallest salivary gland. So the ducts of this gland are known as Rivinus or your Bartholin's duct. Yes, it's clear. So please remember the name of the salivary gland, the duct it has, remember which is the largest salivary gland, which is the largest salivary duct, and which is the smallest salivary gland. So this is important. Okay, so next one we are talking about liver. So liver is the largest gland in your body. So liver is not an organ. So liver is the largest gland of your body. It weighs around 1.2 to 1.5 kg in an adult human. So it is situated in the abdominal cavity right below your diaphragm and between the two lobes of your okay, so it has two lobes. Your liver has two lobes, and we call them as your hepatic lobe. The structural and functional unit of liver contains hepatic cells in the form of cords. So your liver has two lobes, so liver is known as your hepatic. Okay, so just like lungs we say the term pulmonary, for liver we say hepatic. So it has two lobes. Okay, so these lobes are known as hepatic lobes. So here you have the functional unit, that is the hepatic cells, which are arranged in the form of cords. Yes, sweetie Yadav, hello, hi. So thank you for joining my session. So please do like, share and subscribe. So each lobe is covered by a thin connective sheath which is known as your Gilson's capsule. Okay, so pay attention. So this is your liver. So liver is your largest gland. So the liver has two lobes. This is known as hepatic lobe. In each of the lobe you have the functional unit, that is the hepatic cells. They are arranged in the form of a cord. Okay, and each of the lobe is covered by a connective sheath that is known as Gilson's capsule. You should know where this Gilson's capsule comes into picture. Okay, if you can see, the left lobe and the right lobe is separated by coronary ligament. Okay, clear? Fine. So I am moving into liver. Okay, so here you have to remember the ducts of your liver. So here we go. So let me explain the ducts. So do I have a blank slide? Okay, so I don't have a blank slide. So let's go to the blackboard. So I hope till this it's clear. So your liver, so what is the function of liver? So liver produces bile, right? So liver is the largest gland and its secretion is bile, okay? So bile is stored in the gallbladder. So the design inside your body is that, so I have my liver here, right? So liver produces bile and the bile comes out through the duct of the liver. So the duct of the liver is known as my hepatic duct. Okay, and it is stored inside the gallbladder. So this also has its own duct, and the duct of the gallbladder is known as the cystic duct. Okay, so when these two join together, it becomes the common hepatic duct. So this is my common hepatic duct. Okay, yes, so till this it's clear, no doubt. So this is about your liver. So liver is your largest gland and liver secretes bile, and this bile is stored inside your gallbladder. So liver produces bile. It has a duct on its own because it is an exocrine gland, and that duct is known as hepatic duct. Okay, now the bile goes into the gallbladder. So the duct of the gallbladder is known as cystic duct. So when these two ducts, that is hepatic duct and cystic duct, join together, it is known as common hepatic duct. Clear? Yes? Fine. So meanwhile, here I have my pancreas. So this is my pancreas. Okay. So pancreas also is a gland. So which means it will also have some secretion. Okay. So this secretion will come out like this. So I have my pancreatic duct. Okay, I have my pancreatic duct. Now my pancreatic duct and my common hepatic duct will join together, and this will form the common hepatopancreatic duct. It will form the common hepatopancreatic duct. Okay, yes. So please remember, whenever there is a secretion, always your body ensures that there is no backward flow of the secretion. Okay, so here it opens into the duodenum. But here there is a splinter which does not allow the backward flow. So this splinter is known as splinter of Oddi. I'm sorry for the spelling. So this is known as splinter of Oddi. So your common hepatopancreatic duct, it opens into the duodenum, and the basal portion of this duct is swollen, so which is known as ampulla. So this ampullary portion of this common hepatopancreatic duct consists of your sphincter of Oddi, which does not allow the secretion to go back. Okay, so similarly for this common hepatopancreatic duct, which should not allow the secretion to go back. Okay, so here you have the duct of Boyden. No, you can say the splinter of Boyden. Here it is the splinter of Boyden. Is this clear to everyone? Yes. So where do you have splinter of Oddi and where you have splinter of Boyden? Yes, it's not a duct, it's a splinter. Okay. So here you should remember what is cystic duct, hepatic duct, and when they join, it is common hepatopancreatic duct. So here you have a splinter which does not allow the backward flow. So that splinter is splinter of Boyden. Okay. Yes. So now your common hepatic duct combines with the pancreatic duct. So this is your common hepatopancreatic duct. So this common hepatopancreatic duct opens into your duodenum. The basal portion of this duct is swollen. So we call that as ampulla. So here you have a splinter that is known as splinter of Oddi. Yes, clear? So here in the hepatopancreatic duct, the basal portion is swollen. So that is called as ampulla. So here you have a splinter which is known as the splinter of Oddi. And here, just near the common hepatopancreatic duct, you have a splinter that is known as splinter of Boyden. Yes, is this clear, everyone? So this you understood about liver? Yes. So what is the function of bile? We'll talk about. Just hold on. This much is clear to everyone? Yes. Okay. So now I'm moving forward. I hope everyone has made notes. Yes. Can I erase this? Can I go back? Is this clear to everyone? Okay, fine. So I'm going. So now we're talking about, okay, so before this, let me show the picture. Yes. So you have the duct from the liver. So this is my hepatic duct. So this is my gallbladder. So the duct from the gallbladder is known as cystic duct. Okay. So this is my cystic duct. So this opens into the common bile duct. So here I have my splinter of Boyden, right? So here I have Boyden splinter. So then if you see, the duct from the pancreas also join. So the duct of pancreas and the common hepatic duct, so they join together, which becomes the common hepatopancreatic duct. So this opens into duodenum, but the end portion of this duct is swollen, which is called as ampulla. Okay. So here you have a splinter that is known as splinter of Oddi. So this basal portion where it is swollen, we call it as ampulla of Vater, and this houses your splinter of Oddi. Yes, Satyendra, a very happy good evening. So thank you for joining my lecture today. So please do like, share and subscribe. So now the next gland that is in line, this is your pancreas. Your pancreas is both exocrine as well as endocrine. It is exocrine, that is 99% it is exocrine, and 1% it is endocrine, where it produces hormones like your insulin and your glucagon. So let's talk about the exocrine portion. So since it is both exocrine and endocrine, it is known as heterocrine gland. It is known as heterocrine gland. So it is an elongated organ situated between the C limbs of your duodenum. Right? So the exocrine portion secretes an alkaline pancreatic juice which contains the following enzymes. So the endocrine portion secretes hormones, which we will talk later in the last chapter. Okay. So now let's talk about the process of digestion. So now I am done explaining the passage of food, the glands that are used in digestion. So now let's talk about the process of digestion. So how does the process of digestion begin? So digestion of food is both a mechanical and a chemical process. Okay. So the buccal cavity performs two major functions. The process of digestion of food begins in the mouth itself. Okay. So what are the two functions that your buccal cavity performs? One is mastication of food. So mastication means chewing of food. Mastication is chewing of food, and facilitation of swallowing. So swallowing is known as deglutition. So deglutition is swallowing. So the teeth, the tongue and the saliva help in chewing the food, and it mixes them up thoroughly. Okay. So that is the first function. Alright. So mucus in the saliva helps in lubrication, that is movement. Your food particles has to move down through the esophagus then into a stomach, right? So there should be some fluid portion, right? So the mucus in the saliva helps in lubrication. Now it is called as bolus. Suppose if you eat chapati, the chapati you chew it properly with the help of your teeth, tongue, and the saliva mixes with it. Now it is called as bolus. It is no longer called as food, it is called as bolus. Okay? Fine. So the bolus now enters the pharynx and it has to reach the esophagus, right? So now how does it reach the esophagus or pharynx? By swallowing. So you swallow the bolus, or it is known as deglutition process. So first you chew, it becomes bolus, and then it enters the pharynx or esophagus by the process of swallowing. Now from the esophagus it has to move down to the stomach, right? So how it is going to move down the long tube? So that is successive waves of muscular contraction. So brings the food down. So this is peristalsis. So peristalsis is the muscular movement of your muscles in the esophagus which brings the food down. So we no longer call it as food, but we call it as bolus. So you eat food, so you chew food with the help of your teeth, tongue, okay, and the saliva mixes with the food. The saliva has mucus. So now it is called as bolus and it has reached the pharynx. Okay, so from the pharynx you have to swallow it, right? So by swallowing it reaches your pharynx. So now it has to move down the stomach, that is by the process of peristalsis. So moving further, yes, so from the mouth till the esophagus the food is known as bolus. Okay, so please remember, so mouth to esophagus, it is known as bolus. Okay, so moving further, so how after this what happens? What is the form of digestion? So saliva is secreted into the oral cavity. So saliva is secreted by the salivary glands, and these salivary glands are situated outside the buccal cavity, but the secretions enter inside the buccal cavity. Okay, so this saliva has electrolytes present, that is Na plus, K plus, Cl minus, H3O minus, and your saliva also has enzymes. Okay, so your saliva has two enzymes, one is salivary amylase and the other one is lysozyme. So your saliva has mucus, it has electrolytes and it has enzymes. Okay, so electrolytes like Na plus, K plus, Cl minus and HCO3, and it also has enzymes, namely your salivary amylase and your lysozyme. Okay, so the chemical process of digestion is initiated in the oral cavity itself by the hydrolytic action of your carbohydrate splitting enzyme, that is your salivary amylase. So this enzyme breaks down your carbohydrates. So process of breakdown of food begins in the mouth itself with the help of the first enzyme that is present in your saliva, that is your salivary amylase. So 30% is hydrolyzed here by this enzyme. So if you take rice, it has carbohydrates, right? So that is broken down 30% in your saliva in your mouth itself. So this needs a pH of 6.8, okay, and it breaks down into maltose. So salivary amylase breaks down starch into maltose. So if you take rice, so rice has starch, so starch is broken down into maltose. So what is the enzyme? Salivary amylase, and the pH is 6.8, which means saliva has an alkaline pH. Okay, so lysozyme is the next enzyme. So lysozyme has antibacterial agent, so this prevents infection. So this is how the process of digestion starts in your mouth itself. Okay, done? So shall I move further? So now mucosa of the stomach has gastric glands, right? So now your stomach, your food, that is your bolus, is in esophagus. It is going to reach the stomach. But before that, let's see what are the glands in your stomach used for. So your mucosa layer of the stomach has gastric glands. So this gastric gland has 3 types of cells. So what are the 3 types of cell? The first one is your mucus or your neck cell, which secretes mucus. Okay, then peptic or chief cells, which secrete proenzyme pepsinogen. So pepsinogen is an inactive enzyme, or it is a stage before it is an enzyme. Then it secretes parietal or oxyntic cells, which secrete HCl, an intrinsic factor essential for the absorption of vitamin B12. So hold on if you have not understood. So I am just explaining the process of digestion. Okay. So first food enters inside the buccal cavity. So the process of digestion begins here, right? It mixes with the teeth, the tongue and the saliva. So now it is called as bolus, right? So I was telling your saliva consists of mucus, which helps in lubrication or movement. Then it further contains your electrolytes like your Na+, K+, chlorine and bicarbonate. Plus it also consists of enzymes. So what are the 2 enzymes it consists of? It consists of your salivary amylase and it consists of lysozymes. So lysozyme helps in bacterial infection. So salivary amylase breaks down starch into maltose. So here the pH is 6.8 and the enzyme is salivary amylase. So this happens in your buccal cavity itself, right? Now by the process of swallowing, it enters inside your esophagus. So now from the esophagus, it has to move into the stomach. How it moves into the stomach? By the process of peristalsis. Right? So this is how it reaches the stomach. In the stomach, you have gastric glands. So these gastric glands are present in the mucosal layer. Right? So this gastric glands has 3 types of cells. So what are the 3 types of cells? First is your mucus or your neck cell. Next is your peptic cell. The third one is your oxyntic or your parietal cell. So mucus or neck cell, it secretes mucus. So peptic cells secrete an inactive enzyme, that is pepsinogen. Okay. So then your oxyntic or the parietal cell, this secretes HCl and it also secretes intrinsic factor. So this intrinsic factor is needed in the process of absorption. Now we are talking about digestion. After digestion only absorption happens. Okay. So now when this HCl is secreted, so this pepsinogen is inactive. The moment the pepsinogen is subjected to the HCl environment, it becomes an active form, that is pepsin. It becomes an active form, that is pepsin. Okay. It's clear, but still our food is here. I have not explained what happens, but before that I explained the gastric glands here. Done? Is it clear? No doubt? So can I move forward? Okay, so here I move forward. So this I have explained: mucus, neck cell, peptic, chief cell, parietal or oxyntic cells. Okay. So now what happens? The stomach stores the food for 4 to 5 hours. So for 4 to 5 hours, food can remain in the stomach. Okay. So the food mixes with the acidic gastric juices because you have HCl, you have pepsin. So your food mixes with these acidic gastric juices of the stomach and it has a churning movement like in a mixie. Everything mixes, moves up and down, right? And now it is called as chyme. So till the stomach, the food is known as bolus. Once it enters the stomach, it is known as chyme. Okay, so now the proenzyme pepsinogen so once the food reaches the stomach only, pepsinogen will be converted into pepsin. So this pepsin is an enzyme and it is a proteolytic enzyme. So lytic is breakdown. So this pepsin is going to break proteins. So in the mouth, your starch was broken down. In your stomach, your proteins are going to be broken down. So your pepsin converts proteins into proteases or peptones. So proteins are broken down by pepsin into proteases or peptides. Okay, so mucus and bicarbonates are also secreted by the gastric juices, which helps in the movement because the food now again has to be pushed down into the small intestine, right? So it is further pushed down with the help of mucus and bicarbonates, and this mucus and bicarbonate also protects the walls of the stomach from the acidic environment. So imagine your stomach has an acidic pH of 1.8 to 2. So it is very acidic. So if it is very acidic, it can damage the tissues of the stomach wall. So your mucus and bicarbonate from these gastric juices prevents the walls of the stomach from getting destroyed. Okay, so this much is clear. Now the food is called as chyme and we have broken down a 30% starch and some amount of proteins here. Okay. So in case of a child who has lot of milk, okay, so you have what is known as renin. So when you have double EN, it is a milk enzyme. Okay, so this helps in the digestion of milk protein, that is casein, to calcium paracasinate. So when you take milk, so milk has a protein, that is casein. Now this has to be broken into calcium paracasinate and this is done by the enzyme renin. So renin is an enzyme that breaks down milk protein. Pepsin is an enzyme that breaks down normal proteins. Is this clear? Now the food is chyme. Okay? Fine. So small amount of lipases are also present. Just remember this much. So till this it's clear? No doubt? Yes? Can I move forward? Done? Okay. So before I move forward, so now I spoke about bile, which is secreted by your liver, right? So what are the constituents of the bile? So bile has bile pigments. So these pigments are bilirubin and bilirubinin. So it has bile salts. It has cholesterol as well, but your bile has no enzyme. Okay, so what is the function of bile? So bile helps in the emulsification of fat, that is breakdown of fat. So remember this much. It helps in the emulsification of fat. Okay, so remember this much. Now talking about your pancreas. So your pancreas secretes your alkaline pancreatic juices. Because it is an exocrine gland, you have pancreatic duct. So this secretes alkaline pancreatic juices. So this alkaline pancreatic juices consist of a list of enzymes. So what are the enzymes? So before I talk about the enzymes, the enzymes in the pancreatic juices, they are in the inactive form. Only when they enter the intestine, they become activated. Only when they enter the duodenum, they are activated. Now they are in the inactive form. Okay. So what are the pancreatic enzymes? The first one is trypsinogen. So these are all inactivated form. Trypsinogen. Okay. The next one is chymotrypsinogen. So again, this is an inactive form, right? So the third one is procarboxypeptidase. So again, it is pro. So this is an inactive form. So then you have lipases. amylases, and then you have nucleases. So these are the 6 enzymes that are present in your pancreatic juices, and it is in the inactive form. Okay, so now when they enter the duodenum, so all of this gets activated. But how? So long your chyme is in the acidic pH. Now it is coming down into the alkaline pH because our pancreatic juices are alkaline. Your small intestine also needs an alkaline environment. Okay, yes. Ma'am, any idea when the form for NEET will come? Like, I have really no idea, but yes, definitely it's not going to be on 1st of August because that's pretty sure, because today we are in 1st of July. Till now there is no announcement. Yes, I teach the entire biology for NEET, both class 11, 12, both botany and zoology. Okay, Srinivas? Yes? Okay. So now when it enters into the duodenum, it is activated. So your trypsin is trypsinogen. So the moment it enters the intestine, it becomes into the active form, that is trypsin. And now this trypsin activates your chymotrypsin into it activates your chymotrypsinogen into chymotrypsin, your procarboxypeptidase into carboxypeptidase. Yes, but what activates your trypsinogen to trypsin is your enterokinase. So where is this enterokinase? So this enterokinase is produced by the goblet cells. It is the goblet cells of the intestine along with the Brunner's gland. So duodenum has a gland known as Brunner's gland, right? So they secrete this enterokinase which can activate trypsinogen into trypsin. Yes? Is this clear? So have I confused or should I tell once again? So I explained about bile. Yes? So bile has no enzyme, so this is the constituent of the bile. Okay, so then I was talking about pancreas. Okay, so pancreas is an alkaline secretion. So pancreas produces alkaline pancreatic juices. So this pancreatic juices has enzymes which is in the inactive form. So what are the enzymes? We have 6 enzymes: trypsinogen, chymotrypsinogen, procarboxypeptidase, lipases, amylases, nucleases. Okay, so all of them are in the inactive stage. The moment they enter the duodenum, trypsinogen gets activated into trypsin, which in turn activates all the other enzymes. For this conversion of trypsinogen into trypsin, you need an enzyme known as enterokinase. So who produces your enterokinase? Your goblet cells in your small intestine along with the Brunner's gland. Yes, is this much clear? Yes, no doubt? Done? Yes, Anthony, your doubt about this enzymes are clear now? So this is the doubt that you had? Yes, so this trypsin in turn activates your chymotrypsin and your carboxypeptidases. Done. Okay. So this is what is written here. So it has these 6 enzymes. So in the next slide. So now what happens? So in the intestine, all the enzymes are activated, right? So your proteins, your peptones and proteases, are from the stomach digestion. Your pepsin digests them, right? So it digests only some. So some entire proteins are also there. So now they are broken into dipeptides. Basically, proteins are polymers of amino acids. Now it is broken down into dipeptides. So in the presence of trypsin, chymotrypsin and carboxypeptidase. So these are all active enzymes. And it is now present in the small intestine, that is duodenum. Now your polysaccharide, that is starch, with the help of amylase, it is broken into disaccharide. Your fats, with the help of lipase, it is broken down into diglycerides and then monoglycerides. Okay, your nucleic acids are broken down by nucleases into nucleotides and your nucleosides. Okay, about 3 times we have done this chapter. 3 times, I guess 2 times. 3 times I have done. Okay, I have no track of the things, but this is how it is broken down. Clear? Yes? Fine. Now further it has to be broken down. Your dipeptides are further broken down into individual amino acids. Your maltose is a disaccharide, so it is broken down into monosaccharides. Then your lactose, glucose plus galactose, then sucrose. These are all disaccharides present in your food. So this is maltase, lactase and sucrase. So please remember glucose, fructose, glucose, galactose. So you should know lactose is made up of glucose and galactose. Sucrose is made up of glucose and fructose. Okay. So nucleotides are broken first into nucleosides, then into sugars plus your nitrogenous bases. Then di and monoglycerides are broken down into fatty acids and glycerols. So this is how the process of digestion of food takes place. Clear? Yes? Old and this lecture are same. So here I have made it a bit fast. In the old lecture I would have taught it much slow. And yes, I had 2-3 more points. Okay, so what does invertase do? So find out and tell me, Srinivas. So that will be your homework. Okay, so I am done with the process of digestion. I am also done with the passage of food. So next class I will teach you absorption. It will not take more than 10 minutes and then we will discuss questions. Okay, so glucose to fructose is invertase because it is an isomerase. Yes, you're right, Anthony. Okay, so don't forget to join my Menti quiz at 6:30 p.m. So it's guess the chapter. So please do join me at 6:30. So this is me wishing you more and most. If you genuinely liked my way of teaching, so please do like, share and subscribe. So waiting to see you at 6:30 p.m. So stay tuned and take care. Bye.